Dispatch here on the SDH Network. I'm Madison Cruz. We are here at the Children's Healthcare of Atlanta training ground as Atlanta United gets ready to host the New England Revolution this Saturday at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. An earlier kick, it's going to be an afternoon kick, 2:45. But it's going to be a fun one. We'll start out the day especially getting ready for all of the Major League Soccer action that's going to be happening throughout the weekend. We had the chance to catch up with Alexey Miranchuk after training today, and it was a great conversation that we all had with him talking about the upcoming match and how the pieces are slowly fitting together for Ronny Deila and Atlanta United. And here's what he had to say. In Tuesday's training session, after an exercise, we saw that you and Ronny were talking a little bit about where you saw play was going to go. How important does it help you to have a coach that you can bounce your ideas off of when you see something happening on the field as well?
Oh yeah, I mean with Ronny, every player has a really good relationship because before the season he's been talk with us, individually with everyone, and he said that I'm here, like you can come to me, share your opinions, share your thoughts, and whatever it may be. So yeah, it's good to have like feedback every time, and yeah, you can progress from there.
Have you played with a player like Miguel, and do you feel like you guys are starting to find common ground in the way that you want to play?
Have I ever played like
a similar kind of player?
Oh, let me think. I mean, every player is different. So, if in terms of left-footed players, I usually play on the right most of the time. But I mean, as a number 10, and if you have a left player on the right position like Miguel, it gives you more options to play, like right, left. So, yeah.
As I bring in one of the voices of Atlanta United in Jason Longshore, again, you're missing out on the intro this whole week.
I'm taking time off. I gotta conserve my voice.
That's true. We have a lot of stuff going on this weekend, so you gotta hold the voice. We gotta make sure everything's good.
2 game to call tonight, by the way.
We do, which, by the way, shameless plug, you can listen to that on soccerdownhere.mixler.com. That's going to start at 7. It's Atlanta United going on the road to face Philadelphia Union 2. Jason Longshore's going to have the call for you. I'm going to be on social media talking crazy, talking about the match, and going crazy about Atlanta United too. But that's for later. We'll talk about that later. Let's go ahead and talk about what we heard from Alexey Miranchuk today in training. What did you make of what he said to the media?
Yeah, I think Alexey's a guy who understands that there's a lot of responsibility for him in this team, and I think you see the way that he responds to questions and responds to kind of topics, and it's coming from a place of he wants to be the man in this team, and that's because he's a great player. You know, this is a guy who, you go back, years ago, Barcelona looked at him as like the next big central midfield superstar. I think we get hung up on position too often when we talk about Alexey, and let's talk about his quality. He's a guy who can unlock a defense. He's a guy who can get you in the build-up further up the field, and he can play wide, he can play central, he can play forward, he can play back a little bit, he can do whatever, and he can do all that in the context of the game, no matter what position you put him in. I love to see that he's kind of taking on that responsibility, feeling it, and processing it in the right ways and bringing that out in the right ways. And, we talked about that conversation with Ronny in training, and that's really, really cool to see them figuring out together, what did you see? I saw it this way. What can you do different? Why did you do what you did? Can you see the extra runner? All those kinds of things. That's what makes you better. And I love that Alexey talked about that positive relationship with Ronny. Speaking of Ronny Deila, we talked to him as well, and here's a little bit of what he had to say.
How important will those connections be, growing them off the field, help you guys in continuing to improve and continuing to see the growth in the connections on the field as well?
That's very important. We want to have leaders. We want to have players that is a family. We talk about family a lot, and family is that you have to invest time in people around you if you're going to get something back, and that's on and off the pitch. And we have to try to get moments that we can be together outside. We have now breakfast together every morning. That's just the small things that we do together, so we can see each other in a little bit different setting. It's always about teaching and performing. And then it's in the end then it's about when everybody knows what's expected, then to put demands on each other, and also give each other positive credits when it's that. So like to get more communication inside the team. So and that will come. You know, I've been in many teams, and now we've been there for 3-4 months. Yeah, that's just a very short time, but will be fun to talk again when we come to October. That's I think we will see a different team then.
Going back to finding the right roles for every player, do you find it like an exciting challenge almost as a manager, trying to almost move the board like a chess piece and finding the right places for everyone to go and moving it around game by game? Yeah, I think so, but it's also get them to understand their role into the team, because you have as I said, I have a painting in my head how the game is going to be, and then you color that painting every day. And when a wrong color is into the painting, then you have to go and adjust it and get something else. So that is constant moving this kind of colors. But it's in the end to get the team to be effective. So you play to attack and to score goals, and you defend to take them away. And I look always about what we're doing. Is our passes effective? Is how we play effective? Are the players inside the team effective enough, and how can we get them more effective? And that is a puzzle, and it's about confidence, and it's about showing pictures, about this talking together and seeing the same pictures together. So it's a lot of work.
The painting is slowly coming together for Ronny Deila and Atlanta United. Love the analogy that he said for that, because it's something that I said at the very beginning. It's like a puzzle. You're still trying to slowly put the pieces of the puzzle together to make a complete picture. It's the same thing. You're finding the right stroke, the right color to fill in this one place. And then if that color doesn't work, then you put something else there. It's a great analogy for how he's trying to fit the pieces and make everything work for Atlanta United.
Yeah, look, you have a vision that when you walk in the door for preseason, you have an idea of how a team is going to look, how they're going to play, how all the pieces that have not played together, how they then fit and interact. Well, you're going to have injuries. Well, you're going to have guys who don't quite fit the way that you thought they might. Well, you're going to have guys that their relationship is actually really good and you want to see more of that. So you have to adjust. Those colors get on the canvas and you look at it and you're like, you know what? I can tweak it this way. I can change this. I can blend it here. I can do this. I can make the painting look a little bit different. You still have that vision and you want it to look as close to that as you can by the end, but you have to be willing to adapt along the way, and you have to be willing to deal with that time where, look, your hand gets a little twitchy and you make a bad stroke and things are kind of off to the side, and you got to fix that. That's coaching. That's a team. That's a season. And I feel like this team in this season is starting to get there. I think it's becoming more clear in how they want to be and how they want to play, but they shouldn't be looking perfect at this stage of the season. You want it to look perfect at the end. When the painting is done, you want it to be the best painting in the league that wins all of the awards and lifts a trophy.
It's what Ronny said at the end after he said one quote as well, hey, we'll be having a different conversation when October comes around. And we will be, because by that point, you'll see this team slowly come together. And we've seen the pieces fit, especially in these last couple of games. It's now just keeping it consistent and finding the right pieces in that moment. But let's talk about training today. Let's talk about what we saw. We got to see a little bit of what we saw. We had to then step away, obviously, and then we came back. What did you see from the 30 minutes?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of the competitive games going today as well, getting the competitive spirit. I think it's, following off of what Alexey and Ronny both said about those relationships being very, very important. They do get fostered off the field, but they also get fostered on the field too, where, it's the smack talk, it's the juggling to drop the ball into the trash can, and one guy didn't do it as well as the other one. We're going to talk to him a little bit. We're going to make some jokes. Like, that's part of it. That's all part of it. And it's not just fun and games. It's not just meaningless to be out here. There is intent behind it. And I think that's the biggest thing that you've seen from this coaching staff. They're very intentional about what they do. Yep. The part that we didn't see, you're getting into the tactics of the game. You're getting into specific things you want to work on. It could be set pieces, could be a little bit of those relationships that you're potentially going to tweak, maybe do something a little bit different in this game. You don't want that to get out. They don't want us to see that. They don't want us to talk about that right here on Training Ground Dispatch. No. That's going to be unleashed on Caleb Porter and New England Revolution on Saturday.
And speaking of Saturday, Atlanta United is back at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. 3 games in a row back at home, hopefully going to get 3 points this Saturday against the New England Revolution. pregame is going to start at 1:30. Got a time actually this morning from Abe Gordon. So 1:30 p.m. is going to be pregame with myself, Abe Gordon. Then we're going to toss it over to Mike Conti and Jason Longshore at 2:45, maybe a little bit afterwards for you guys to have to call.